When he was in Panama for World Youth Day, Pope Francis gave a talk in which he mentioned St. John Bosco. And St. John Bosco was a priest who lived in the city of Turin in Italy in the 19th century. And it was a time of great disruption in the world. It was a time that was affected by the French Revolution, the Napoleonic Wars, the Industrial Revolution, and lots of other cultural upheaval that had great effects on society. And one of the things that was an effect of the Industrial Revolution and the wars was that you had a lot of people coming from the countryside into the city. And an effect of that was that you had a lot of young people living in the streets, especially young men. And there was a lot of dysfunction, antisocial behavior, and a lot of criminality. And when Don Bosco encountered this, he didn't engage in sort of the common criticism of the youth of that day. Instead, he ministered to them. He gave them community, he gave them education, he gave them work, and he gave them a sense of identity rooted in God's love for them. And the reason that that Pope Francis mentioned Don Bosco is because in a lot of ways our society resembles the society in which Don Bosco lived. You know, we live in an age of disruption. We live in an age of globalism. We live in an age of rapid advances in technology, social media, also a lot of cultural revolutions that have gone on over the past several decades. And so our world looks a lot like the world of Don Bosco. And it's really incumbent on the church to encounter those people who find themselves lost. You know, there's so many questions about even just identity. Who are we? And what is our life all about? Does life have any meaning? And we have to engage those questions and help those people understand that they are made in the image of God. That's their fundamental identity, that they were purchased with the price of God's blood on the cross, and that God desires their salvation. And Don Bosco reveals to us also the effect that one good priest can have on those around him. And so we really need to pray and ask the Lord to give us good priests, and we need good men who feel themselves called to the priesthood to respond, so that like Don Bosco, they can have a transformative effect. They can do the work of God in the world, be his good instruments, and have a transformative effect on the society. So we need men to respond to what the Lord is offering them, especially if that is the priesthood.